is the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagon. Grab the big noise Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed another edition of the Fade 5 Podcast. And before we purchase some tickets there at the Plus Boss, as we normally do at the top of the broadcast, Lundy, you were teasing me. You left me with a cliffhanger. You said, grab some popcorn, pull up a chair, sit down because it's story time. Tell.
You got to be able to do. Okay, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen, and because I have the technology skills of a drunk squirrel, this is not going to look quite right on the YouTube feed. Okay, but I'm going to put a picture up here. Hang on. All right, check this dude out, Brad. Okay, you see him? I'm walking through the National Mall in Washington, D.C. This dude was like 4 blocks from our nation's capital, and he clearly had lost his fantasy football league. He was sitting there with his 3rd grade recorder, like music book, and his recorder, and he had to sit and play until he raised $100 for charity. That was his punishment. So my wife and I are walking around the mall, and I hear this dude on a recorder, and I'm like, that has got to be the most obnoxious thing ever. And I come around the side of him, and I saw his poster that you can see there on the screen. So I walked over. He was doing this live on TikTok or Instagram, one or the other. He was broadcasting live. And I walked up to him, and I handed him $5. And he goes, "Oh my God, y'all, we just got our first donation." I was his first guy to actually stop and give him money. So I have no idea how long he had to be there, but I know we're starting to get into fantasy football season. So if you guys like to create very creative punishments for whoever comes in last, I wanted to share that picture of that kid that I ran into in Washington, D.C., because it was a damn riot. My wife took a picture. It was great.
I will say this, Lundy. Screw tattoos. Screw SAT. Having to retake that at like 45 years old. This one may be one of the best punishments I've ever seen because he's out there playing a 3rd grade recorder for funds.
And it was great. So here's what's funny. So I hand him the $5 and he goes, "So what do you want to hear?" And I go, "Can I pay you?" And I go, "Can I pay you $5 to stop playing?" And he goes, "No, the punishment doesn't work that way. I have to play something." So my wife calls out. She's behind the phone, right, taking the picture. Yeah. My wife calls out and goes, "Hot cross buns." He broke into hot cross buns while I was sitting there, and it was glorious. So congratulations to that dude. I hope he raised $100 for charity. I hope some other willing tourists stopped by and gave him some cash. But I had to share that story as we come back, as I got back from the nation's capital last night. Congratulations to my daughter's team. Came in first in their pool, 2nd overall, and racked up a nice 6-2 record over the course of the 4 days of the tournament there in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Junior Nationals. So.
Outstanding stuff. Well, congrats to your daughter, and congrats to that random dude for getting a donation, at least something there in the coffers. Hopefully pay off his league debts. And yes, fantasy football on the horizon, and some bets in the NFL also on the immediate horizon right now, because we're going to hop aboard the Honk Plus Bus. Lenny, I'll just go ahead and take the baton and go first since we're talking about the National Ball League. And I realize little baby seduced by the juice here to plus 100 at DraftKings, but I cannot freaking believe this is a prop that's available right now, even at plus money. It should be at like minus 150, minus 175. Hell, minus 200 feels more appropriate on Caleb Williams to lead all NFL rookie passers in passing yards. You can find this right now at DraftKings at that plus 100 juice. Already Shane Waldron's come out, the OC of Chicago Bears, gushing about Caleb Williams in the opening days of training camp. And no, I don't think it's coach speak. I don't think it's hyperbole. Yeah, he had a couple of rough days back in May minicamp, but that was long in the rear view. He's been working his ass off behind the scenes throughout the entire offseason, and it's already shown. has a great grasp of the offense, complete command according to Waldron already, and he is smarter and quicker with the decision making. And this is a guy at USC who was top 15 in the country in adjusted completion percentage last year. He can make every off-platform throw imaginable. So a guy with different arm slots, who is a mobile quarterback, who will find the soft spots in coverage and take advantage. And here's who he's throwing the pill to. I don't know, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, also getting rave reviews, a rookie out of Washington, Cole Kmet, established tight end, and DeAndre Swift, who could be a legitimate 3-down back. We know the pass-catching prowess that he possesses. On top of that, the Bears have a top 10 offensive line projected, and the 9th easiest fantasy football schedule for signal callers. Put all together, Caleb Williams to lead all and up for rookies and pass yards plus 100 DraftKings. I think he flirts with 3,800. Good, sir. Plus time. What do you got for me?
I'll go with something a little more immediate. You know, I don't like to tie my money up. Let's go north of the border. The Tampa Bay Rays will be taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. They are on the road, but I'm going to go with the Rays on the money line here at plus 120 at DraftKings. Reason being, who's taking the bump for Toronto? Oh, yeah. Jose Barrios, who has a 6.55 ERA over the last 30 days. And I'll give you an early bonus time here. You can take your pick, okay? We could talk about Jose Siri. We could talk about Arozarena. We could talk about Brandon Lowe. I'll give you the early bonus time right now. Take your pick for somebody on Tampa to go yard. Why? Because Barrios has given up at least one home run in 13 of his last 15 games.
Wow.
Dude is letting guys rocket the ball over the wall. It's insane. And if you go back and look at some of the games that he has had, he's given up 2. He's given up 3. He's had times he's giving up 5 earned runs in the innings that he's out there. So we're going to come back to this game with an SGP in bonus time. But I like Tampa on the money line. I think the plus odds here are good. This has actually come down a bit from where it opened. So I would snag it while you can. DraftKings, as you can see, has got it at plus 120. But we're going to come back to this game in bonus time because I think there's some great opportunity to take advantage of some player props as well with a guy that is just not looking good on the bump right now. The hilarious part, the last start he had before the All-Star break, he didn't give up a home run. But you know what happened? Toronto lost 12-1 to the Diamondbacks.
Wow. That's a smackdown.
Whew.
That is a smackdown. You know who I'm going to stack my chips on? Randy Arozarena. Because I like to roll the end. So have him to go the distance.
Go for it, man. I'm just telling you, somebody is going yard because it's all Barrios does. He's tied for the league lead of most home runs allowed this season with 21.
Oh, man, that's downright atrocious. So, yeah, definitely bet a long ball or maybe a dozen to commit.
It's Dinger Tuesday, man. Take advantage of it. Like, I'm telling you, somebody in that game is going to go yard because it's what Barrios does.
Well, Dinger Tuesday in my neck of the woods, a little bit different than the Dinger Tuesday you may be thinking of. And with that, coursing around the cerebral cortex, let's get after it with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, numero 5 here with the countdown today. Let's get a hit parlay on the board. I realize not plus money, but if you see the spreadsheet or, you tailed me on anything last night, I apologize. I went 0 for 7 on my standard bets. Thankfully, the White Sox suck. And I bet against them on the live line in that Rangers game at plus 225. Catch that. I catch the Cubs on the live line. They got the money line win and a critical victory against the Milwaukee Brewers. That was it. Everything else was a big fat L on this bald forehead as a result. So I don't care if it's minus money. I need a stinking winner. 2-leg action. Give me Stephen Kwan to get a hit. And give me G. Hendo. Gunnar Henderson also to get a hit. Minus 119 at FanDuel if both those events occur. I look at Stephen Kwan taking on Ade Chua. And likely Jody Wentz, a guy with a 5.22 ERA on the year. You look at Kwan, a guy that has gotten a hit. consistently here of late, and especially against LHPs, batting well north of 300. He's 3 for 8 lifetime against Wentz as well. So I think he's going to smack one in the outfield. Usually good for it. I know he's only batting 261 here in the month of July, but he is going to break out the funk in a likely convincing fashion. Meanwhile, I look at Gunnar Henderson taking on the Miami Marlins. A guy named Kyle Tyler is giving up a much higher OPS to LHHs this year. You look at G. Hendo. He's gotten a hit in 11 of his last 14 games. He's batting 308 with a 992 OPS against right-handed pitchers this season, which Tyler is, and also batting 385 over the last 7 days. And on top of that, too, 305 batting average on the road. It's the Guppies of Miami. I think he will slap one in the outfield. So to recap, Stephen Kwan, hit. Gunnar Henderson, hit. Minus 119 at FanDuel. Lundy, Vader follow.
It sucks that it's minus odds, but it's minus odds for a reason because of everything you just outlined in terms of the matchups that these guys have. So there's some good offensive opportunities in today's schedule. I think there's a couple of games that might be low scoring, but there's also a few that are going to stack the runs, and you got to be looking for those guys that are going to be able to snag the hits to do it. Like I said, I'll talk about a couple in that Tampa-Toronto game coming up, but this one seems like a no-brainer to me. A couple of guys that have been red hot going into the break, certainly continuing it coming out of the break, and they've got favorable matchups.
Amen on that one. Right, Quan and G. Hendo. Let's make some money. I downright need it.
Number 4.
All right, numero cuatro here on the Fade to 5 countdown. Let's go to the pitching market. Let's go one of the best K-men in the biz, and that, of course, is Chris Sale of the disappointing Atlanta Braves, but I am not going to be deflated on this one. Give me the over on 7.5 strikeouts at home at Truist Park, taking on the big red machine of Cincinnati. A light juice here, available at BetMGM at minus 105, and it's entirely buyable. You look at Sale. He has hit the over on this, Lundy, in 10 of his last 13 starts. He's got 11.45 K per 9 on the year. Another worldly 32.8% call plus swinging strike rate on the season. And you look at the matchup. Here, Cincinnati, the last 2 weeks, they are number 7 in strikeout rate at 24.8%. They are number 11 in strikeout rate against left-handed pitchers, and they are number 10 in strikeout rate over the entire month of July. And on top of that, number 7 and strikeout rate on the road. So no matter how you slice it, they're inside the top 12 in K rate. So a lot of free swingers on this franchise. Oh, that's got to be music to Chris Sale's ears. All I need is 8, a lucky snowman in the box score. He may punch out 10 tonight. So good sir, numero cuatro here on the Fade 5. Fade or follow Chris Sale over 7.5 strikeouts against Mr. Redlegs, minus 105 at BetMGM.
I'd try to add something to this one, Brad, but you already outlined all of it. This is just a good matchup for a guy that wants to sit there and swing and a miss or catch him looking with something painting the corners. That's what he's good at doing. Cincinnati on the road, the Braves basically missing every possible offensive weapon.
Ozzy Albies the latest, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of feels that way. It sucks for Braves fans. But Sale is still there. He's still on the mound. He should be able to keep Cincinnati under control. So, yeah, let's take him for 8 or more. Love this one at the slightly favorable juice, the minus 105 there at BetMGM.
Yeah, perusing the discount rack. Take me over on Sale. 7.5 strikeouts against Cincy.
Number 3.
Numero tres here on the Fade 5 countdown. Oh, Skenes. Oh, Skenes. I got damn. I love Paul Skenes. And, of course, I got to get some action on him, the guy that started the All-Star game for the National League, a guy that's kind of a dark horse for the National League Cy Young and a virtual L or G word. Of course, the injury ramp always lurks, so it's far from that for a rookie of the year in the National League. So Skenes, I'm going to hit the over on 17.5 outs. That is leg numero uno on this 2-legger, and I'm going to parlay with the Baltimore Orioles, again, taking on Miami on the road just to get the victory and put those hands together. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, I want the shoulders get seduced by that juice there. Plus 127. And by the way, I built this at DraftKings Sportsbook. So give you a little bit of background here on Skenes. He has hit the over on 17.5 outs in 6 straight starts. In fact, his last 4 turns of rotation, a microscopic 1.33 ERA. He's already gone 6 1/3 against the St. Louis Cardinals, who he's taking on tonight. That was back on a start on June the 11th. He had 8 punch-outs in that game. And on top of that, too, this season, a 6.85 strikeout to walk split. He is mystifying. He is deep panting. He is flat out embarrassing pitchers and, well, not pitchers, but hitters, pitchers in the opposition who can't, reach the level that he is tossing out there, but hitters that are taking steps there in the box. So I think he's easily going to go 6 strong innings. And then meanwhile, you got Albert Suarez to get on Kyle Tyler in that Orioles and Marlins matchup. Miami is number 30 in WRC Plus here in the month of July. Who is number 1 in WRC Plus in the month of July? Oh, what a quinky dink. The Baltimore Orioles. So complete opposites at either end of the spectrum are both these teams respectively in terms of their scoring ability. And Suarez, 2.82 ERA this year. Baltimore has won 6 of their last 10 on the road. Miami, meanwhile, has dropped 7 of their last 10 games overall. So to recap, 2-leg action. Ow! Skenes over 17.5 outs. And I'm going to pair that with the O's to win on the money line, plus 127 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
Folks, this is what he does. He does this crap, and then you get that song stuck in your head for the rest of the day.
Yeah, well, I can't say certain choice words in that song.
Oh no, I know you can't. It's disappointing to now know that I have that stuck in my head for the rest of the day. So I appreciate that. Just on principle alone, I should fade you, but the problem is these 2 legs make way too much sense. So yeah, Skenes to be able to roll. He's going to make an appearance in bonus time. Oh, look at all the correlation that's happening today. He's going to appear again in bonus time and really like Baltimore on the money line. So yeah, put this stuff together. Nice and easy, plus 127. And now I need to go listen to, I need to put some music on during this next break, something, because I've got to find a way to get it out of my head.
Oh, cranked a Lil Jon in the background. Also, crank the content right now at thegamingjuice.com. It's absolutely free. You have no stinking excuse. Check out all of our various pieces covering the smorgasbord of sports betting into fantasy football. Check out our NFL Gamers Guide, all of my fantasy football ranks for free, available to those that sign up for a membership, which is also free. All of my team previews, season-long player props on spinning, a lot of hot claims with training camp already open in real time as well, along with cranking out daily baseball content, other seasons. We're exploring other sports. We're going to have some college football content soon available for those futures investors from my esteemed duo of Nate Jacobson and Ben Wittenstein. Lundy spreadsheet lives there, mine as well, always updating every single day, all of the free action. Oh yeah, it's that operative word, free. Go to thegamingjuice.com right now. Click, converse, and cash. ... Maybe.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's go the fire-breathing dragon from none other than Kansas City, Missouri, and that is one Bobby Witt Jr. Give me the damn over on hits. And that prop sitting at 1.5, taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it's still significant plus money, plus 125. If you invest in this prop at FanDuel Sportsbook. Have you seen what Bobby Witt has done lately? Well, the last 4 straight games, he's gone 1, 2, and 3, mi amigos, in the box score. Those are hits. He's registered at least 3 hits in every single one of those contests. In fact, over the last 15 days, he's batting a redonkulous .514, and on the season, he's batting .344 against left-handed pitchers. He's taken on Jordan Montgomery and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Montgomery's first start since late June. He's got an ugly 6.17 ERA on the season. He's given up a 40% flat hard hit rate, a little bit better on the road with a 4.80 ERA, but that's really nothing to write home about. I am going to ride the stinking hot hand of Bobby Witt Jr. yet again. Give me the over 1.5 base knocks. against the Slithering Snakes, plus 125 at FanDuel. Lundy, do you dare fade or are you going to follow?
No, you don't fade, especially a guy that got plunked when he was a single away from the cycle. That's the thing that, like, I'm telling you right now, I am surprised that there were not dudes coming out of the dugouts.
Yeah.
When that happened, because he was one single away from the cycle and he got plunked on the first pitch of the at-bat.
Yeah,
all right. That was ridiculous. I'm really surprised that the Royals didn't come out of the dugout and get pretty pissed about that one. But yeah, he's absolutely on fire. He's hitting .508 in the month of July. He is hitting .684 over his last 5 games. .684. That is unreal. And oh, by the way, in those last 5 games, he's only walked once. So yeah, it's pretty wild in terms of what he's doing. So yeah, forget the total bases or the HRR or anything like that. And in truth, if you want to dive in on some of those, feel free. But I think right now you've got to play him on the multi-hit as long as the books are going to keep giving it to you at plus odds. And I think you should take advantage of it. Ride the hot hand. We've seen this happen with other guys before, especially back in the months of May and June. You find a hitter that's just rolling on a streak, and you got to take them as long as you can. You got to ride them until they buck you. And at some point they will, okay? They will. But you got to do it while you can, especially right now at home against Arizona. This is a great matchup again for him.
Keep whacking it, Witt. Again, I got to recuperate units lost.
What? Keep what?
Whacking it.
Oh, geez.
Number 1.
Oh, speaking of whacking it, when I saw this prop available at DraftKings, that may or may not have occurred, and that is Logan Gilbert. Give me the over 18.5 outs. My number 1 play on this Tuesday edition of the Fade 5, taking on the LA Angels. Why do I like this prop so much? Well, again, it's at significant plus money, plus 130, available there at DraftKings. Gilbert should be able to make some greenbacks. A guy, he was line drive Logan a couple of years ago. I had the highest line drive rate in all of Major League Baseball in 2022. Now he's got one of the lowest, below 16%, sitting at 15.9 right now, drawing a lot more weak contact, the ground ball variety. So as a result, with the low walks yield that he has also compiled, he doesn't strike out a ton of guys either. The pitch counts are largely efficient. He works deep into games. He has recorded at least 19 outs in 6 of his last 8 starts at home this season at T-Mobile, 3.07 ERA. Oh, and look at this, Lundy. Just a few days ago, back on July the 14th in Los Angeles against the same Angels club, how many innings did he pitch in that one? 7. That's 21 outs. Again, I'm no math major, but I know that's north of 18.5. I look at LAA, number 29, so second to last in WRC Plus here in the month of July. They are number 26 in WRC Plus on the road over the entire season. Again, low hard hit rate, a rising ground ball rate, and a guy that even if he goes like, I don't know, 88, 89, 90 pitches, that could still be 7 innings. The last time out against LA, he finished with 87. He is the picture of efficiency. Logan Gilbert of the Seattle Mariners. Give me the over 18.5 outs at home against LAA. My number 1 play of the day, plus 130 at DraftKings. Good sir, fade or follow.
I'm a little nervous on this one. Not going to lie. I get he's at home. I get the matchup. I get all of that and what he's been able to do. I'm a little bit nervous, but you might be able to talk me into it. But I'll tell you what, the opposing pitcher is also in bonus time. So why don't we just go ahead and get to bonus time, brother?
Oh, yeah,
and just
and
let's keep the ball rolling here. I'm just throwing it out. I'm just saying we might want to stick in this game. You ready?
Well, yeah, let's do it. It's bonus time. Bonus time. Lundy, you're such a tease. Enough already.
Yeah.
Please give it to me.
Yeah, that's what I got. I wish I had a recorder here that I could play for you. Let me go to the other starting pitcher. Jose Soriano will be on the bump for the LA Angels. Give me the over on his total outs, Brad, at 15.5. I just think that is way too low for him. Best juice right now that I found is at BetMGM at minus 115. He's over at minus 120, 125 at some of the other books, but he is minus 115 over at BetMGM. One of the reasons why I like it, 2 times he has faced the Seattle Mariners this season, once at home, once on the road. Both times, 18 outs. Both times, 6 innings that he managed to go, and that included when he was on the road back in the month of May, where he actually allowed 4 earned runs and 7 hits, but he stayed out there, and he still completed the full 6 innings. So I think this number is too low for him. It's why I get a little bit nervous about your number that you've got with Gilbert being all the way up at 18.5. So given my druthers, I'd rather go to the other starting pitcher. The other reason why Seattle has lost 6 out of their last 7 games, including the first of the series against the Angels. This is just a Mariners team that is in a slump right now. I think Soriano can take advantage of that. And again, in the 2 times he's faced Seattle this season, both times he went a full 6 innings. So I will stick with that one. I told you that Paul Skenes was coming back. I decided to do a slight alt play, Brad, but this is an SGP for you with Pittsburgh. I will take Pittsburgh on the money line, straight on the money line. They're a -185. I like them at home against this St. Louis Cardinals team, especially with Skenes on the mound. And then I'm going to take his strikeout prop, and I'm just going to pull it down by the hook. So I'm going to take him to 7 instead of 7.5. I'm going to take Skenes for 7 strikeouts. Pittsburgh on the money line. That one is a +118 over at DraftKings. Let me get you some game totals here. I told you there's some games that I kind of like the offense, but if I find that I've got 2 or 3 of them, my tendency, and you see this on the spreadsheet, my tendency is to pull those 2 or 3 games down and then parlay them together on the alt line. So follow along with me on this one. Give me the over on 6.5 runs between the Yankees and the Mets as the Subway Series gets underway in the Bronx. Give me the over on 6.5 between the Giants and the Dodgers late night tonight at Chavez Ravine. And then I'm going to pull the total down right here in Denver between the Red Sox and the Rockies. I'm going to pull it down from 10.5 to 8.5. And I'm going to put all 3 of those together. So again, Mets, Yankees, 6.5, Dodgers, Giants, 6.5, Red Sox, Rockies, 8.5. All of those alt totals over. And if I put that together at DraftKings, I've got myself a +123. Ooh. So I really like that one. I think that's a sexy number. It gets you just into positive territory. But all 3 of those games tonight, frankly, I kind of like just the normal over in each one of them. But I'm buying myself, in each case, I'm buying myself a 2-run cushion by bringing it down and stringing them together. Finally, let me go back to that Tampa and Toronto game that I talked about, that I think we are going to, I think we may see some fireworks in this one, potentially. I told you, if you're playing Dinger Tuesday today, if you've got a boost for a home run or whatever, I'm telling you, make at least one of them somebody on Tampa's lineup. But let me flip over and look at Toronto's lineup in this one. So I did this 3-leg SGP as well. Give me George Springer for a hit, give me Vlad Guerrero for a hit, and give me both teams to score at least 2 runs. That's it. 2 runs out of each team, Springer for a hit, Vlad for a hit. You put all of that together, that is a +114 over at DraftKings. Part of the reason that I like being able to piece this one together when we're talking about those hitters is the history that we've got. George Springer, lifetime against Sean Armstrong, who's taken the bump for the Rays, has a .444 batting average. Vlad Guerrero's lifetime average against Armstrong. Brace yourself, folks. It's a cool 727.
Wow. Jumbo jet, baby.
All right. So there you go. Vlad and Springer for hits. Each team to score at least 2 runs, +114 at DraftKings. I yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois.
All right, I wrote down Vlad Guerrero on my little index card there. I got to get some action on that one. Great plays and calls there, good sir.
And by the way, they're base knocks. He's got 8 hits. He's got 8 hits, and only one of them is a double. Everything else is a single. He's just consistently smacking this guy when he's got a chance to see him on the mound.
Yeah, he's going to likely split a gap yet again. Let's go to my Team Huevos parlay play of the day. And this is a juicy one, folks. And I built this one at BetMGM. It's an SGP Plus. And here are the legs. Give me Garrett Crotchet. I know it's Crochet, but the Crotchet Rocket, I'm going to have him for more strikeouts than Jonathan Gray of the Texas Rangers. Give me the Rangers on the run line, a +2.5. So that is the SGP portion. The plus comes in on another interesting parlay here. It's actually a single play. Colin Ray to have more strikeouts than Jameson Taillon in that matchup at Wrigley Field. So Crotchet, more strikeouts than John Gray. Texas plus 2.5 on the run line, and Colin Ray, more Ks, and then Jamison Tyone plus 273, baby. They're at BetMGM. A little bit of background on each of these. Do you really need any evidence that Crotch is going to K more guys in gray? No, you shouldn't. Just look at the standard K per 9 numbers. They're really through the roof. Gregor Crotch at 12.58 on the year. Texas with the number 11 K rate here over the last couple of weeks. Meanwhile, Gray only a 7.61 K per 9. So Crotch will have more strikeouts than Gray. And then Texas, it's the Rockies. Or not the Rockies, it's the White Sox, the AL version of the Rockies, I should say. They're a team that has been atrocious on the road. They are 10-41. Again, they blew the game last night, going in late and then got into extra innings. And of course, Texas took care of business. I think Texas should be able to cover the plus 2.5 with relative ease against that meek level of competition. Then meanwhile, Ray has got 5 Ks and 8 Ks against the Cubbies this season. The Cubs are making better contact here late, but still number 17, middle of the pack in K rate in the month of July. Milwaukee a little bit higher in that category. Tyone has got a 7 strikeout performance against them this season, but the last 2 times, 4 and 5. So this was going to be touch and go. Got to be nip and tuck, no doubt about it. I think Ray's going to go 6 strong. Likely Tyone will go 6 strong. Maybe it's a tie in the end, but maybe it's just one more strikeout for Ray. If we get that, the other 2 legs I feel ultra confident are going to hit. So put it all together, plus 273. Yeah, baby. Team Huevos parlay play of the day as a result. Elsewhere, bonus time. Let's go back to Paul Skenes. I'm with you on the 7 strikeouts. And I tell you what, I'll take Captain Hook. Yar, shiver me timbers. Out of the equation on Chris Sale, too. So if we get both those guys have lucky 7s in strikeouts, Lundy, it's plus 133 at DraftKings.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
And Skenes has done it in 10 of 11. And you look at Sale, he's done it in 14 of 18. And Skenes had 8 strikeouts the last time he faced the Cardinals. So I'm feeling really good about that one. That one's available on the Gaming Juice spreadsheet right now. So I have that locked and loaded. And staying in that game and focusing on the lumber, I like O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates over 1.5 total bags against the Cardinals at plus 115 at DraftKings. He's going against Lance Lynn. Now, he's 0-2 lifetime against Lynn, but Lynn on the road this season, a disgusting 5.36 ERA rate with a 40.3% hard hit rate. He's also given up a 1.31 home run per 9 mark overall this year. Cruz is stinking hot. Not as hot as Bobby Witt. Nobody is. But he's in the vicinity, batting .344 the last 15 days with a 1,009 OPS. He's at the over 1.5 total bags in 7 games here in the month of July, and plus a handsome 846 OPS against RHPs this season. So I like Cruz on the over total basis there at plus 115. All right, I'm out of breath. We're out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, fade or follow us on the X. Always try to give it to you. Lundy at Nate Lundy and myself at Noisy Huevos. For the always handsome Nathaniel Lundy, I'm Brad Evans. Until next time, play the recorder strong, my man, if you're still trying to collect money. Until we meet again, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you.